Hello and welcome to today's reading. Today we are receiving messages from the inner child, from your inner child specifically, and how to connect more with it, any messages that are coming from your inner child. We're just kind of going to be led by the cards today, but we have two piles to pick from. We have self-love with number 16 and learning with number 25. Before you choose, I would like to say that this is a collective reading, so make sure you tune into the energy present. Call on your guides to guide you to the pile that has the messages for you. And also, on top of that, a disclaimer that tarot and oracle do not deem you to any realities that you do not do not resonate with. So take what resonates and leave the rest. With that being said, I will add crystals now, if you like to choose with crystals. So we have carnelian with self-love and smoky quartz with learning. So I will leave you here to decide what pile you would like to go with, and I will see you in your reading. Pile number 1, welcome to your reading. You picked number 16 with self-love, and right off the bat we see a figure here sort of immersed in the natural world. We see a lionfish, a large stag deer, some bubbles, and yeah, I just see a lot of creativity, a lot of flow, and even kind of coming off of this figure of, I'm hearing imposter syndrome, so maybe that's something that you deal with. But I'm going to read this out of the book to start off your reading, just to see how it might relate to your inner child and what they might be trying to say initially to you, maybe why you were drawn to this card. So we have self-love. It says, you might be feeling downhearted or melancholy because you haven't fully grasped how to appreciate who you are. The ability to truly love yourself complements your capacity to fall in love with others and the world as a whole. Self-love means acknowledging the light within yourself. You are a sacred part of the mystery and miracle of life. Perhaps you have struggled to rally esteem, respect, or love for who you are. Maybe you are looking outside of yourself for validation. You may expect friends, family, a partner, coworkers, or your bank account to provide you with your sense of worth. This expectation leads to illusion. The truth of who you are is inside of you. You are unique, you have your own process, and you need to be yourself. Quiet your mind and go within to find your self-esteem, awareness, and inner peace. This will lead you away from worry, judgment, and mistrust. As you learn to extend the quiet periods in your mind, you will begin to be more in your heart, where you will recognize truth, intuition, and acceptance. This maiden hugs herself in an act of self-love. Her nakedness emphasizes her vulnerability in the process she is going through. The stag supports time taken alone. The lionfish encourages you to face your inner demons. With the help of the lionfish, you can stand strong and face whatever you might have been hiding from. Work on loving yourself a little more each day. You deserve to love yourself more. Okay, wow, what a intense first message from the inner child. Your inner child wants more self-love, wants to see you encapsulate the innocence in loving your true and your whole self vulnerably and entirely. I'm so excited to see what your guys' reading has in store for you, because that's just such a wonderful start, I guess, especially speaking from the inner child. There's so much magic in the message already, but we're going to get straight into the cards and see what we have. So we have the Three of Hearts, we have the Five of Crystals, and the Guide of Crystals. So, you know, I think I'm going to actually pull all the cards and then read from them at the end. But we also have car, get into the driver's seat of your life, and money, discover the source of your true power. Okay. We have Rainbow Bridge and Mysterious Mother. Okay, and then for tarot cards, we have Four of Wands, Prince of Pentacles, and Temperance. Also have the King of Wands, the Magician, the Six of Pentacles, and the Nine of Swords. Okay, so pile number one, your inner child. Okay, so again, starting over here with the self-love card, we see an awakening of developing vulnerability with the self. It seems like your childhood might have presented you with abandonment issues and seeking external validation. So you might be a chronic people pleaser, and if you are not alone. I am, in fact, one myself, or am a recovering people pleaser, I like to say. But it seems like right now your inner child is calling on you to be present with yourself and to develop the vulnerability to hold space for yourself. Your inner child wants a hug. That's truly all it is. That's why this figure here is hugging themselves. The exciting part about this reading that I'm already seeing is how much play and how much joy your inner child inherently has and is kind of bringing into your life once you make this connection. With the Four of Wands and also with the Three of Hearts up here, we see kind of this like ring around the rosy, joyous dancing in circles, twirling around, singing, bringing back this energy for your inner child to be able to play and be able to sing and be able to sit with the self and explore and believe in treasure maps again. Is going to again help you connect with yourself, but also doing things like that could help you with developing space to like enrich that relationship with your inner child. So playing with the self, or dancing, or listening to music, whistling while you do crafts, doing things by hand, DIY woodcraft, getting, I'm hearing glue for some reason if you like to glue things together. We also see Santa over here, I believe, with guide of crystals. And so it's kind of like bringing back the magic that exists within the innocence of childhood, and believing again, not necessarily in Santa, of course, but here we also actually see the stag again, supporting you, finding magic. I'm hearing just magic, finding, and it's actually interesting because we have the Magician right here below, but finding magic and exploring that magic. If your inner child grew up in a perfect environment that supported them exploring their magic, who would you be as an adult? I feel like that question needs to be posed, but I think the answer is that you would be the most complete fulfillment of the Magician. You would have your wands and your tools and your belief and your energy that you're able to wield. And if you don't feel like you're the Magician right now, or you don't believe in magic right now, that's okay. That's just going to be one of the many benefits of reconnecting with your inner child and listening and being even guided by your inner child. We're seeing here with the Guide of Crystals, the direction given by the inner child, sort of a pointing in a direction and saying, does my inner child agree with this decision? Does my inner child want to go and do this? And being able to sit with the answer no, too, if that comes up, and going a different direction. Here we see a little white rabbit, and for me, it's bringing up like the like flightiness, how over attentive that you watch rabbits, and they always have an ear on their surroundings or an eye on their surroundings. They're generally known for running away when they're spooked. And I think that, again, your inner child is telling you that you are developing space and time for you to sit comfortably and spend time doing things you love to do without needing to rush and without needing to confine yourself. You are able to explore without having to be so hyper vigilant and so over aware of, and again, even not even just like physical surroundings, but with the people pleasing thing. It could be being hyper vigilant of other people's emotions and therefore taking care of them, where you should be really focusing on yourself and focusing on your own emotions. Because again, recognizing that everyone is responsible for their own emotional patterns in life is going to take so much pressure off of you to be that for everyone else. So again, up here in the top row, we just see a lot of vulnerability, a lot of exploration, a lot of play and magic. I'm going to put the Four of Wands up here because even with the wands being present, it's just again telling you how important it is to lean into the idea of what did you enjoy as a child. Maybe you did dance, and maybe I feel like something that you actually enjoyed as a young child, you might have been robbed of the experience of enjoying it, maybe because it was turned into competition or competitive sports for you, or there was just some aspect of your childhood that made it harder for you to enjoy the things that you at one point did enjoy, because they were turned into some sort of commodity or responsibility even, or maybe even like a privilege. I'm hearing that maybe your parents said you can only do this if you abide by the rules, and they were outlandish rules, so you never actually got to do exactly what you enjoyed. There's just this element here that your inner child's telling me you didn't really get to fully enjoy the things that you loved as a child, and that's why it's so important now to revisit those things so that your inner child can feel satiated and no longer feel that longing of wanting to do what they wanted to do as a child, you know. In the Western world especially, we are asked to grow up so quickly. If not by our parents, then societally, we are just told to move on and grow up and fit in and do these specific things and abandon all quirky, weird parts of ourselves. And that's what makes it so hard to be vulnerable and makes us feel so small and so flighty and hyper vigilant, because we're so aware of the way people are perceiving us. And even the magician over here is bringing in this energy of no longer subscribing to that mentality of needing to make anyone else happy. You don't have to make your parents happy. If no one's told you before, I will tell you myself, you don't have to make your parents happy. That's their responsibility to go and make themselves happy and enrich their own lives. This is your life. This is where you get to decide what makes you happy, what makes the rainbows in your life crawl across the skies, what brings magic and power into your life, what feels like play, and why isn't most of your life spent doing those things. We see the Six of Pentacles next to the King of Wands. Again, the King of Wands is showing this sort of power that you're discovering behind your play and the magic that exists within sitting with your inner child and exploring things, and even exploring the emotions that came up for your inner child that were sort of deemed childlike. And again, at the time you were a child, but sometimes I'm hearing again the expectations were to be mature for your age. You weren't allowed to cry, you weren't allowed to express yourself, you weren't allowed to ask too many questions. It just seems like you were really confined, especially with these Nine of Swords. There were walls built up around your inner child and you were not allowed to leave them, whether they were physical, mental, emotional. It just seems like you were very confined and you weren't able to explore or even mess up. I'm hearing that we see here with like the Five of Crystals, maybe when you did your projects as a kid, someone told you that they weren't good enough, or they weren't, you colored a picture and they said, oh, you colored outside the line, so it's not that good. Exploring sort of the innocence in being messy as well, the innocence in being allowed to mess up and explore the option of failure and trying again rather than forcing yourself to do it perfectly and do it right the first time. If you are getting into the occult or magic for real, like specifically, or if you feel kind of intimidated by the idea of that, understanding that failure comes with exploration, and that's just a part of the process. Learning what not to do also helps with learning what to do. So being open to all opportunities, having this sort of play in regards to just life and exploring what you can learn each day, and not really having this sort of on or off switch of, okay, here I'm going to be myself, and here I have to go back into the persona that I've built into, like as this mask. But really kind of allowing that vulnerability and that peace and that play, being okay with the discomfort or disappointment of others when you take that mask off and disregard it, and finding that power when you break down those walls and remove all of those swords. You have so much growth that comes from freeing yourself, so much abundance of time and energy, and it sounds like even health. You get your health back, you get your body back, you get your autonomy back, because you are no longer consumed with the idea or illusion even of perfection. I think that's what we heard in the beginning with self-love, that thinking that we will be validated by something externally leads to illusion. So we get caught up in doing all of these things that have nothing to do with us, nothing to do with our soul. And it seems like for a while now you might have been caught up in that idea that you have to do all of these things and even check off these boxes. There's such a long list of things you must complete in order to feel fulfilled. I encourage you to disregard that list, crumple it up, throw it away, and make a new one that actually has to do with you and your inner child. If you sat down with your child self today and asked what is on your bucket list as a child, what do you want to do with your life? What do you want your dream life to look like? What would they say? What would they tell you? And how can you get closer to that idea now as an adult with so much autonomy and so much access to resources and the ability to make decisions for yourself? I'm hearing very strongly also reparenting, and I think that's where the temperance comes in, is having the maturity now to reparent yourself into the lifestyle that actually supports your mental health and your power. It seems like, again, you were separated, you were almost cut off from the magic of your life, the magic of your innocence, the magic of play as a child. You were given so much responsibility to behave a certain way and to provide certain things as a family member, or as an expectation as a person in society. It might have to do with your gender. There's just some part of your identity that you might have been cut off from, and that's why you've been seeking it, maybe subconsciously or unconsciously. You've been seeking it in all of these areas of life that you've been thinking, oh, maybe in this relationship I'll feel better, maybe in this work I'll feel better, maybe in this creation I'll feel better, but really discovering that this magic has been inside of you this entire time. I'm gonna read Mysterious Mother from the book because it's just calling out to me. Number 4. All right, she says, the mother brings a guiding star through the darkness. She has the ability to move through the absence of light and carry her own light. When she appears, she is letting you know that you are safe and loved. Not only that, but you too can become her. She is self-sufficient. She doesn't need the sun to grow her love. She is a mountain, the light, the love. Calming pink waters revolve around her and into you, filling you with peace and calm. Okay, so I think that this is wonderful because personally I went to a Pride event this week, and there was one of the tents was free mom hugs, and I saw it and I thought about it for a moment, but then when I walked past the woman who was standing there, I just couldn't help but go and hug her. And I don't know why, but it was like the most wonderful, fulfilling hug I've ever received in my entire life. But that's kind of the energy that is being presented to you and your inner child, is this love and support that you might not have always felt from your actual parents. But you can find that love and support within yourself, is really the point that we're getting to. All of this aloneness, this feeling of abandonment, it's obviously valid, and it's obviously based on your experiences, and you are allowed to grieve the parental love that you deserved but did not receive. But at some point, you have to come back to the idea that all of that love that you wish to receive is within you, and it does not need to come from an outside source. If you spend your whole life waiting on an external source for what you need and want in this life, you'll never receive it, or it'll take a really long time when you could just be fulfilling yourself and hugging yourself, giving yourself the love and comfort that you need, going within your mind's eye and wrapping yourself around yourself. I know that sounds silly, but giving yourself the most fulfilling hug that you could ever receive, because that's all you need, is to feel that love. It doesn't matter who it comes from. If it can be you, it should be you. Go and give yourself that nourishment that you've been seeking all along, and you will inherently discover this growth and this magic. Taking out these swords one by one and having the patience to discover what's left afterwards, coming back to this magic, exploring play without judging yourself, giving whatever that love looks like for you, that pink water, being able to dance and sing and believe in treasure maps and even Santa if you want to, and doing it without telling yourself that it's foolish or silly because you're an adult, you should be mature by now. Screw that. There's so much, there's so many behaviors of adults that condition us to lack in innocence and in play and exploration, that we get confined to this idea of what maturity and self-sufficiency is, when really we find ourselves lacking that love that we wish was present. And if we just loved ourselves the way we are and explored and said, I want to go and do this thing, and then going and doing it wholeheartedly, I promise you that fulfillment is going to reach you. So again, this temperance is kind of adding to the mysterious mother of just saying that you can provide yourself everything that you've been searching for. This water pours from you, pours into you. This energy is available to you. You just have to have the will to go and seek it, rather than continuing to seek it outside of yourself. We also see the rainbow bridge here, and I love this because we actually see kind of a similar image in the Prince of Pentacles, having like this little bowl up here on the cliff. It seems like this relationship with magic and innocence and your inner child and self-love is going to be helping you step into your new life. It's going to be making these connections for you that allows you to leave the past behind, allows you to leave traumatic experiences, limiting beliefs, anything that has held you back and made you feel disconnected from your desires, your dreams, your passions, your creativity, your magic, whatever it is, everything on this side that you're reaching for. This is the bridge to get to that point of your life, to get to that feeling and that perspective in your life. Connecting with this play, allowing yourself to be silly and be innocent, to have the magic of a child again, and understanding what that means for you. It's such a wonderful thing to discover, and also understanding that this is a process. This is going to unlock a lot of new things for you. Having the patience to go forward and take time and not rush yourself, not thinking about this as I must go and complete this journey. It's I'm excited to discover what comes up for me. Because again, if we only focus on the outcome, we kind of inherently come back to the rabbit mindset of, I know I'm not there, I know I'm not there, I know I'm not there, so I must not be succeeding yet, rather than exploring the rainbow in between and enjoying every moment of connecting with and discovering your inner child. I promise you, it's worth sitting in and exploring. I want to come back over here too to car. We see get into the driver's seat of your life. So again, it seems like the opinions and the ideas of others have sort of been the main influence on your life, and that's why you've felt such a heavy need to satisfy others, because someone else has been in the driver's seat of your life. and connecting with your inner child, and even putting your inner child in the driver's seat of your life. I know that sounds like the most dangerous thing to do in real life. Obviously, don't put a child in a car and tell them to drive, but metaphorically here, where would your inner child take you if they were in the driver's seat of your life? What would you discover? Again, I can say the word play as many times as I can, but for you specifically, this is going to mean very specific things. And this might be a rediscovering of what you used to do. I'm 23 years old and I'm still remembering things that I used to enjoy as a child, whether it be favorite toys or favorite memories, favorite experiences, just little things that I loved to do, and now I do them in my own grown-up ways. It's like becoming the person that your inner child would feel the most safe with. That if you walked into your inner child or your child self's life today, they would automatically be drawn to you and just absorb you, because you are everything that they ever admired about anyone before. They don't resent any parts of you because you don't subscribe to the yahoos that keep them separated from themselves. And that's why this connection is so important for you and for your understanding. We also have money, which says discover the source of your true power. I think that this is just very specifically telling you that the source of your true power is your inner child. Your inner child is saying that you will feel so empowered when you connect with me, when you connect with your inner child, when you feel the ability to face the things that you have been afraid of, and you're able to go through them rather than allow them to continue to cloud your mental and physical and emotional space. So yeah, I think that that's all I'm seeing for you, pile number one. This is really, really exciting for you because, again, there's so much discovery here. There's so much play. There's so much laughter. There's so much joy that you're going to be feeling. And it seems like you might have been separated from that feeling for quite some time now, and it's just going to be very fulfilling to you. You're going to be running over with power. You're going to have so much creativity. You might even find an entirely new direction in life or path in life. You might be able to connect it into your career or your relationships. It just seems like this relationship with your inner child is going to be steering you in all facets of your life. Your entire life is moving into this new perspective of joy and rainbows and magic and play, and you just feel so empowered to enjoy yourself rather than continue to sit in the reality that the hurt people from your past created for you, whether that again is your parents or your teachers or society, period. You are feeling empowered again. So I'm very excited for you guys. If you're interested, I will post a list of affirmations regarding your pile specifically in the description box below. Feel free to check it out. I like to save them as a lock screen on my phone so I can keep my intentions and messages at the forefront of my mind and use it as I go about my days, and be intentional, again, with connecting, because it's one thing to hear these messages, it's another thing to really implement them into your everyday life. So finding out what you can do to connect to this energy and empower and liberate your inner child is going to bring so much emotional freedom. I hope that someone comes back and comments the freedom that they do discover, because I love hearing these sorts of stories when people get to discover the magic of their inner child again, and they no longer have to subscribe to the mentalities that were keeping them so separated from their innocence and their play. So anyways, I love you all so much. Thank you so much for being here today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Hello, pile number two, and welcome to your reading. We have number 25 with learning, and right off the bat we see a young person here in what seems to be quite a natural landscape with water and grass. There's a little ladybug on this wheat flower, a bunch of butterflies, and yeah, I'm already getting like exploration and ideas and creativity, but I want to read this from the book. Number 25. Okay. So it says, as humans, we are perpetually learning and growing. Learning to handle emotions comes from attentiveness. Managing stress, anxiety, and anger is a learned skill. Understand what sets off your distress or anger. Choose how you will respond to your triggers more effectively. Persist with this approach until it becomes an automatic response. You may feel you are resistant to learning the lesson at hand. The reasons for resistance vary. It may be stubbornness, habit, or a self-destructive pattern. During times of conflict, your lesson may be more crisis-oriented. You may be in denial about something in your life. It can be hard to face your fears and admit weakness. Issues may build to a point where you need to address your reactions. Be honest with yourself. Are you in an addictive cycle? Are you accepting responsibility for your role in this situation? You may need an outside source to help you break out of a pattern. Once you recognize an unhealthy pattern, you can learn how to improve your existing situation. Try new approaches and be open to not knowing what will happen next. Ask to learn this lesson with grace. A child holds a single stalk of wheat with a ladybug on it. Wheat denotes the use of caution and wisdom. The child studies the ladybug to learn what she is going to do. The ladybug represents delight and a knowing that cannot be taught. Can you remember how you were as a child? Children are often able to create exactly what they want through positive thinking, resourcefulness, and persistence. Throughout life, you have learned to doubt and fear. Be like a child, willing to learn and in awe of the world around you. The butterflies in this picture are symbols of transformation. If you are willing to work on the situation, transformation is inevitable. The prevalence of green means healing and abundance are not far from you. Wow, what a start. So, pile number 2, learning is going to be a main theme for you in the coming months, weeks, I'm even hearing years possibly, and it seems like we are facing a lot of habits, a lot of cycles that you have outgrown and that no longer serve you. And that's so exciting because that means that you are going to be finally entering the era of exploration and abundance of time and resource and feeling good, feeling the magic of being a child again. I was just talking about this with pile number 1, but rediscovering what felt good to you as a child, that innocence, that play that was present as a child, and rediscovering that as an adult is one of the most liberating things you can do for yourself. But anyways, we're going to get right into your cards, and I'm just going to lay them all out, and then we can read from the whole set. But we have the Four of Swords. Oh, my nose itches. Four of Swords, Two of Crystals, and the Ace of Wands, which I'm already excited because we're already seeing quite a bit of play. We see 4 kiddos here on a raft kind of heading towards, again, this abundance that is out there in the future, this sort of promised land. They even have, like, I think one of the swords is fishing pole. So taking your time, allowing yourself to reach the destination, but in the meantime, learning from what's available to you rather than rushing towards what you're trying to get to, accepting the wisdom and the wisdom and the perspective that's present in your life right now. We have the Two of Crystals, where you see again 2 children playing on this seesaw. We have the swing in the background. We see a lot of abundance in play, a lot of abundance in green for you. It's like you're discovering what feels good to you again and what it's like to waste time, almost what it's like to not plan your day and just do whatever you want to for the day. Explore playing. One of the things that, like, children don't really subscribe to is time management, which I think can be so beneficial, especially, and it sounds kind of backwards to, like, give yourself a day or maybe even a few hours on one day to be like, okay, this is my allotted time for play, and explore what you can do within that time and how you feel when you don't commit so heavily to a schedule. And then again with the Ace of Wands, we see this sort of unraveling and this blossoming and this, like, you're re-entering the world out of your cocoon. It seems like you've been kind of shut off or blockaded from living your life. Again, it could possibly be from your experiences as a child or your childhood experiences that have kept you locked away in your cocoon, but you are finding your wings, you're finding your magic, and this is so extremely exciting for you guys. I'm excited for you. I don't know if you're excited yet, but I'm excited to keep going. So we have flying that says arise and see a higher point of view, and we have departed loved ones. You are loved more than you'll ever know. Okay. I just got chills. The love that is present for you guys, what I think that it might have been the lack of love or the lack of physical connection or physical proof of love that might have been delaying your exit from the cocoon, but here we have a direct message that you are loved. You are loved just the way you are. Whatever your wings look like, they are beautiful, and you are going to be discovering how to fly. These wings that are unfurling for you are allowing you to come up above and see your life from a larger, grander perspective or point of view, and even possibly look back on your life and see the possible, and I hate to, it's one of my least favorite perspectives to say like, oh, I learned from my trauma, so therefore I'm thankful for it. Not necessarily, but allowing yourself to see in hindsight what opportunity or even lessons that your life has provided for you, and therefore using it for your advantage rather than being affected by them and therefore victimized by them. You are empowered because you've learned, and it's in the past, and it does not currently affect you or keep you from flying with your wings, from playing with you in the love of your life or the love within your life, or enjoying your journey as you get towards the promised land rather than rushing towards it or like incessantly tapping your foot because you're not there yet. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going. We have spirits to guide you. So once again, support. You might have a specific departed loved one or just a spirit team who is coming through for you, but you have so much spiritual support. We have a lot of little animal or even fairy spirits that are helping you along on your guide. The ladybug, the bird, the bunny, the squirrel, the owl, the two fairies, the departed loved ones. You have so much spirit that's present in your life that is helping you get back to the magic of your innocence, and that's so exciting to see. And then we have hiding, which I think is again kind of highlighting on that cocoon phase that you've been hiding from yourself and even your life. I'm going to read this one from the book actually just to see what it has to say regarding your inner child. Let's see. She says, are we hiding because we are crying, or are we crying because we are hiding? Oh, relatable. Feeling fragile and emotional can also bring one of the most intense feelings, shame. Why do we need to hide our face? Everyone gets sad, everyone cries, everyone feels vulnerable. There needs to be no shame here, but I understand because I hide too. Sometimes you just don't want to see anyone or the world around you. Maybe it has all become too loud and too much. It's perfectly fine to hide away in yourself until things feel safe again. So, okay. Thank you, Spirit, for highlighting this, because I was talking about the cocoon before of how you've been kind of closed off from the world or just not willing to be vulnerable, and that is okay. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but that served you for quite some time. It kept you safe, it kept you protected, but once again, we're kind of outgrowing this habit of hiding. You no longer feel obviously, if it helps you ground, hide for a moment, but you're kind of finding enrichment and empowerment in no longer hiding and being truly honest with your emotions in the moment, and no longer feeling that shame that maybe was given to you as a child when you did cry. Because again, I think a lot of us kind of get that message of, don't cry, don't be a baby, don't show emotion as a child, which is so unfortunate. But anyways, I'm going to keep going with the tarot cards. We have Ace of Cups, we have Ace of Wands, we have Strength, we have Page of Cups, we have the Lovers, and we have the Wheel of Fortune. Wowza. Wowza. Okay, so pile number 2. Where do I begin? Okay, so we have the Ace of Cups up here. Again, your magic and power, connecting with your inner child right now, hearing them, listening to them, understanding what it is they want, what it is they need to no longer feel shameful about their emotions, and really sitting in and feeling this support and allowing it to reach your inner child is what's going to make you feel so fulfilled, so strong. Here we see strength, so energized, because it's like this Page of Cups, this water is just flowing straight into your life, and it's flowing through you. It's like you're reconnecting to life force energy. Again, the magic that children have to just believe that they are joyful, believe that there is so much purpose in life. You're rediscovering that. And it seems like, again, somewhere in your life there were experiences or people who conditioned you to disconnect from this flow and to disbelieve it even and disregard it, but you're reconnecting, and that's the point. Ace of Wands over here again is showing you the magic that comes from sitting within your power and no longer hiding your vulnerability, your quirkiness, your oddities, your desire to play, your desire to explore, your desire to blossom and bloom and be loud and squeal. I'm hearing like the loud outbursts of children is something to appreciate, not something to demonize. Here we even see the roar of the lion. You see strength and being able to do whatever your inner child leads you to do rather than deeming it silly or immature or embarrassing. And I think that this message relates a lot to to pile number 1. So if you'd like to watch them both, please do. But for you guys, you will discover so much strength. It feels like you might have felt pretty weak previously, but you are discovering strength in blossoming into whoever you are without judging yourself or even perceiving the judgments of others. It doesn't matter to you. It doesn't matter to your inner child. They just want to explore. They just want to exist. They just want to feel the magic of life, and you're able to do that when you connect with them more than the world that has conditioned you to be and feel so shameful. We also have the Wheel of Fortune, which is with the Lovers. So not only are we seeing so many resources of abundance, this overflowing of water, this Ace of Wands behind here, but the Lovers, you're almost discovering this new relationship. It's like once you love yourself, you allow yourself to be loved by others, and you're allowed to feel this love and support spiritually or even in the physical world. You might be finding a soulmate or a partner or even a friendship or a support group that makes you feel like you belong in a way that you don't feel like you have to search anymore. You don't feel like you're alone anymore. You feel okay. You feel like when you do come out of your cocoon, it's going to be into a safe space, and you feel like you can share the sad parts with you. You feel like you can ask for what you need when you feel overwhelmed or your emotions do get the best of you. They're not going to be ignored anymore. They're not going to be pushed to the side or deemed immature anymore. You are going to be supported with the relationships that come into your life as a result of connecting with and intentionally calling on your inner child, the magic of your inner child. We also have the Magician, the Wheel of Fortune, that's twice, guys, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Queen of Cups. Wow, that's so interesting, the Queen of Cups. You guys might have a lot of water energy. It just seems like a permanent flow state is what's coming into this ability to just go with the flow, the ability to follow your inner child. We see this huge river taking you towards the promised land, but again, it's more about enjoying the flow towards it rather than rushing towards the point. You have the Wheel of Fortune twice, so we know that the promised land is definitely coming. All of your desires, all of your dreams are being unlocked with understanding that your journey towards them is part of the reward at the end. Your journey toward enjoying your journey towards what you want out of life is part of the reward of getting to where you're going. And then the Magician here too, it's like you're kind of dissolving the illusion of ego. With learning, sometimes again as adults we start to believe, especially if we rely on the ego specifically, we start to believe that there's nothing more to learn, that we know everything, that we're always right. We have this kind of reliance on the ego to provide us with the information that we need or think we have. And it seems like you're getting the opportunity to see through that illusion and be able to learn again. You see the magic in learning. You see the incredulous power that is offered to you when you open your mind to saying, what can I learn today? What can I benefit from today? What is present in my life that I can receive at this point in my journey, rather than only focusing on the point that you are currently at or the point that you're getting to, and focusing so heavily on the materialism of accomplishment. The Magician is also kind of highlighting the power, the strength over here, the power that you have, the Ace of Wands that is present for you, your ability to wield your intention towards what you would like to do. It seems like there might be some areas of your life that you've been participating in that you don't necessarily actually desire, they don't necessarily fulfill you, and that's why the Queen of Cups, this water energy, the cups energy, is so important to you, because you're discovering what actually fills your cup and what does not. And therefore, going forward in your life, you're able to see what you would actually like to spend your time doing and what you would like to no longer participate in, and feeling okay with making those decisions, disregarding the shame that has been projected onto you, and saying that doesn't apply here, sorry, you can try to make me feel however you'd like, but I don't feel shameful for doing things that fill up my cup, that make me feel that, like, this boundless butterfly, that make me feel explorative and supported even by spirituality and spirit, period. We see a lot of symbols. Okay, that's so crazy because I didn't even see this at first, but we see the two fish right here. So I'm getting like really strong Pisces energy, and I don't know, I guess that might be, I don't know what that could mean to you. Maybe you are a Pisces, maybe you know a Pisces, maybe you love a Pisces, whatever. Either way, the energy of Pisces is present for you. The energy of flowing, the energy of curiosity, the energy of knowing a lot of things, but also wanting to learn a lot of things and being open to learning, being open to understanding what benefits could possibly come from being more childlike in your everyday life. Yeah, I think that if you're kind of contemplating the idea, if your inner child were to guide you on like a walk or a hike, they would, you follow them, where would they lead you to? Where would they take you? What would they ask to do? What would they want to do on this walk? Would you go and swing on the swing set? Would you end up sitting down and coloring? What about your inner child or even your child self could lead you to getting closer to the magic of life and feeling less connected to accomplishment and competition, and more connected to flow and creativity and ideas? Thinking about what children value. Is it coloring within the lines, or is it exploring, what colors they like, rather? But really just going forward with the idea that you're allowed to explore. You don't have to end up in one place. You don't have to desire only one outcome. It can be able to freeform into whatever it wants to. Putting so much pressure on what the butterfly looks like when it comes out allows so much room for disappointment when it's connected to expectations. But again, freeing yourself from that idea and coming back to, I feel my happiest, I feel my most fulfilled, I feel my most fluid when I'm able to do these things and sink into these things, or I'm able to do these things without expectations. That's kind of the idea of getting into that childlike mindset of not tying yourself down to specifics and allowing yourself to be this fluid, free form sort of being. So I think that that is all I'm seeing for you, pile number two. I am so excited for you because so much play is coming forward, so much magic, so much ability to explore what it is that comes forward for you when you start to empower yourself, when you start to learn and use your wisdom. Again, abundance is coming to you, and that's abundance in many currencies. We see fruits and fire, we see love, we see greenness, we see magic, we see the wheel of fortune. So this could very much be money, this could be very much power, this could be very much water energy, connection to nature, spiritual guidance. This could be a developing of spiritual abilities. Whatever it is, there is so much of it coming to you that you will not be able, like, it's unbelievable at this point. But once you start to trust the direction of your inner child, it's going to be like a second nature. Like they said, with breaking those bad habits, it just takes that those first few days, you practice it until it becomes second nature, getting away from what you've already become. It seems like there's some outlived habits, that those habits formed in environments that didn't serve you in the first place, so they aren't really yours to keep holding on to. Getting rid of them, like this shame over here, feeling like you have to hide your face when you cry. Getting rid of that shame, getting rid of those things that don't serve you and don't belong to you in the first place, so you can invite in this wisdom and direction that do belong to you, this wisdom and direction to play and explore and expand and use your magic. I know I'm just saying the same things at this point, but I'm just so excited for you guys to explore this. So yeah, that's all I'm seeing for you, pile number two. If you're interested, I will have a link in the description box below to a list of affirmations you can check out. I like to use it as a lock screen on my phone so I can keep like the idea of connecting, with my inner child at the forefront, or I just have a reminder to come back to and be like, oh yeah, this is what I'm working towards. Building those habits with affirmations is usually helpful for me. So feel free to use it however you want to. In the meantime, I love you so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I will see you later.